Welcome to that segment where we serve you the stories that made it to the front pages of the National Daily. We are pressed for time, and so today we'll be reviewing just two papers. Our reviewer is already in the studio to give us deeper perspectives into some of these issues that made it to the front page. We will start with the Daily Trust, and the major story there. It's despite multi-billion naira complex, NSA's office commit 32 billion to new buildings. And it's a misplacement of priority.
Wasting resources in a
coming from the
fantastic
CSOs and experts. You'll find the details of that on page 4. You'll find a magnificent building there. I mean, when we were having these conversations in the newsroom, some person said this office would as well pass for the NSA office in the United States of America. The magnificent. You would think that we would deploy resources to the areas that would help us fight criminality and crime, rather than some luxurious office for back-end office users. Moving on to other stories. Residents found dead, building destroyed as explosion rocks Ibadan. And Supreme Court reserves judgment in Nasarawa KB governorship dispute. And finally, insecurity. Bandit adopt 17 in Niger. Tinubu summons service chiefs, FG6 France help. IGP deploys DIG in Abuja. And security agents have gone to sleep. Senator Kingibe. These are the stories on the front page of the Daily Trust.
Really indicting words. Let's turn our attention now to the front page of the Punch newspaper for today. Abduction epidemic. I would say crisis, but okay. Anti-kidnapping protest holds in Abuja today as 10 suspects have been arrested. Tinubu vows crackdown on kidnappers, agents of darkness, abductors kill hotel barman. And federal government saves 8 trillion naira from subsidy removal and forex reform, according to a panel by the president. We're worth looking at, to get to the details of this one. Many fear dead, as far as we can report, 2 so far, as announced by the governor. But the point is saying many fear dead as massive explosion rocks Ibadan. Naira plunges to 1,300 naira at parallel market, and refinery issue. Dangote investors gain 1.2 trillion naira. Well, that's it on the front page of the Punch. Let's bring in our go-to man on a Wednesday. He's not particularly in a jolly mood this morning. I wonder why. Mr. Ben Sherman is here with us yet again.
Insecurity here and there. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
No, well, I can see.
You have every reason to be sad, isn't it?
Honestly.
Yeah.
Now, when you're talking of NSA, National Security Advisor Office, that magnificent kind of a building that we are still committing so much in it. Is it that the building is there as Mongunu built and it was commissioned by Buhari? It was just there and there were no equipment, but we were shown some footages of equipment that, look, we could see quite a lot of distance right in Nigeria here. That reminds me of a situation I saw in Technion University in Israel. Look, they could beam almost anywhere and you could see. They did a demonstration to us, Now, that is a kind of a replica I saw the days of Burata in Borno State. I just burst into an office unknowing, honestly. And what I saw, incidentally, I saw a colonel where we had this Haskebu in Jaji. I could see him. I said, oh boy, what is this? He said, shh, but let me tell you, see this street, we can see as far as how many kilometers. See this one, we can see as far as how many kilometers. Now, why don't we replicate this in Abuja? If the Office of the National Security Advisor has quite a lot of these things, why should we have this kind of insecurity in Abuja?
I know security is important, but is it your opinion that we cannot afford this kind of wastages? Is that what you're saying?
I think we shouldn't go into all of this kind of magnificent kind of building. It's not about fashion. It's about doing the job. Now, in doing the job, I'm wondering, look at Wike summoning security. Look at Obetoku, who, when he was acting, said, I feel like roaring like a lion. I feel like devouring them. Now they are challenging you. Today you are deploying DIG. Is it when the president complains that you begin to act? Your action is reactionary. Why don't you prevent instead of reacting to situations? I think that should be it. And Wike too, Minister of FCT, I think leave rivers alone. and face us. Look, help us here. Let the chief security officer of Rivers State take care of Rivers State.
Yes.
And you here in Abuja, face FCT.
He said in his meetings with the mandate secretaries and security chiefs yesterday, on the one hand, while admitting the insecurity, he said he also appears that the media is blowing the issue out of proportion. I mean, with with what has happened in the last couple of, does it appear that we are blowing this out of proportion?
Media is blowing. You see, the whipping child syndrome. Who do I blame? Let's go to the press. Look, somebody has stolen something, and a boy went and told it. The boy is the problem for having revealed that so person stole something. The media is responsible for vandalization of DCC cameras that have been reported. The media is responsible for kidnapping in some estates here in Abuja. The media is responsible for that. The media is responsible for touts. You have 419 here and there. We have one chance driver here and there. The media is responsible. No, we say no. We are just a mirror. When Wike dresses and he stands in front of a mirror, what he sees in that mirror is what the journalist is telling him. What is obtainable in society is what we report upon. It is for us to hold them accountable for their actions and inactions. If you feel you should blame the mirror, you can't break the mirror. The mirror will always be there.
Someone said Abuja is fast becoming the unsafest place in the country. Do you think that that's a fair description with regards to what has happened over the past couple of weeks and also over the past few months?
You see, sometimes due to what you call responsible journalism, some of us begin to hold what you call self-censorship, because there are things at the point, if you overblow them, you're also sending your investors away. Now, if we came, for example, we say, let's join hands, come, where are we wrong? And we begin to move together. And so when I see that some people are saying Abuja is becoming too unsafe, where the president is, guards brigade there, all the service chiefs, the inspector general of police, just name every security apparatus. If you mean it and you are in business, your headquarters is in Abuja. And if you therefore say that the place is unsafe, then where else is safe? And if you go to some villages, I know like in some areas in my southern Kaduna, if some women will want to go fetch firewood, they have to go in a group and assisted by men before they get firewood to go and cook. And
right.
We are talking of some unsafe situations, and we need people in authority to salvage the situation, not the blame game.
All right. I think it is safe to say that we cannot overemphasize the developments around Abuja and its environs. Let us quickly touch on Ibadan. I mean, as we were preparing to go to bed yesterday, stories started filtering in of an explosion. We were not sure at first what it was. Some said it was gas explosion. The governor ended up admitting that it was explosive by illegal miners in the popular Bodija area. I'm sure you're the last time you were in Ibadan when we spoke to you, you have a good sense of what the kind of damage that this would have caused, given the dense population of Ibadan. Talk us through what occurred to you when this story broke.
Yeah, you see, when you say illegal miners, was it that they kept the things there? Was it that they were doing illegal mining? And usually when you must do mining and there has to be explosives, it has to be away from residential areas. That has to be made very, very clear. And a situation where it is so, in a so much densely populated area, says a lot in terms of even explosive controls. There has to be police clearance, there has to be SSS to even have what you call explosives in terms of mining. You don't just import, there has to be clearance. And you also have to say exactly where you are keeping them. Some people have to go do some clearance checks. Is it, can we save them here? And if they were in use, were they in proper use and a proper place? These are things that ought to be looked at. And when you say it's gas plant, now, if it's a gas plant, it's coming when Nigerians are now saying that's the alternative to petrol. Now, how are we therefore going to handle it if this is a first point in time and we're now going to be having cars using gas here and there? What does it say in terms of even conscientizing people? How do we avoid this kind of explosions? We ought to, not that we'll just be rushing and we'll be talking about consequences, and again the blame game will come on board. I think quite a lot of things will have to be done. And at the point some people say, oh, I hope it's not Boko Haram. But if the security agencies are saying it is gas explosion, let's take it for the time being that it is so. But hoping that they'll cast their net and see what they're going to catch.
Okay.
Is it Boko Haram? Is it an accident?
Yeah.
We have to know.
Okay, let's cross over to Ibadan now live. Adenike is standing by for us to give us some update as the day takes shape and as Ibadan wakes up to this tragedy as they pick up the pieces, and we can confirm some of those developments. Adenike, good morning. Not sure it's a good morning, but thank you very much for joining us on the breakfast show. Give us a sense of what is happening today in Ibadan. What is the mood like across the city? Plus, what can you tell us about rescue efforts to find missing persons or those affected by the rubble?
Thank you very much, sir. Presently at Aderiola Street, Kodija Estate, Ibadan. This is the place where the explosion occurred yesterday night. The explosion occurred around 7:45 p.m. yesterday night, and rescue operations are still ongoing. There are quite a number of people here. Several people are here, including security officials and emergency officials, media men. This place is fully packed. The rescue operation is still going on. When I arrived this morning, a dead child was found under the rubble, and the child has been evacuated. An elderly man was also found, but the man was still breathing. So he had also been rescued and taken to the hospital. So rescue operation is still ongoing.
All right, Adenike, what new information do we have as far as the figure of the casualty is concerned? Have there been any updates? And are there further briefings away from what the governor said by the State Emergency Management Agency in this regard?
The State Emergency Management is still busy at the site, and nobody is ready to give a precise number of the casualty, except from what the government has said. But since I got here, I've seen 2 dead bodies lifted from the scene, from the site, and one wounded, one severely wounded. Like I said, rescue operation is still going on. But the latest information I had now, while I was close to the epicenter, because I moved away from the epicenter. While I was close to the epicenter, security men came and told us that we should move away from here because they are suspecting that the explosives are still buried down under the near the site.
Right.
So that's the latest.
That's very telling. Adenike, we're going to have to leave it here for now. I'm sure we'll circle back during the course of the day to find out more as soon as those informations trickle in. But thank you most kindly for the update and for the situation report. Thank you very much for joining us on Daybreak. Right. Adenike Kafi there giving us some update. We will keep tabs on these developments as they continue to unfold in Ibadan and bring you up to speed with all of the information. We're going to have to leave it here for now. We're completely out of time. We did enjoy some of our extra time, but Mr. Benjamin, as always, thank you for being a good sport and for joining us on the program.
Just a clip.
Very briefly.
Yes. You see, when there's an explosion of this nature, like I tell reporters, always don't be the first to be at the center. Okay. Sometimes you have some hidden ones that will explode later on. And even people who rush to just be onlookers. You are never rescuers. You just block those who have gone to rescue.
Okay, okay. Well, that is Daybreak for today. Thank you most kindly for joining us. Really appreciate your time and company. We'll be back tomorrow live at 8. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. Good morning.
I'm Sunday Michael Ogo. Let's do this again tomorrow.